Now I'd like to introduce somebody else to the stage. At last year's Oration, the Bionics Institute inaugurated the Bionics Institute Award for Excellence in Medical Device Innovation, recognising significant contributions made by an individual to the development of Australia's medical devices industry. I'd like to invite Mr. Robert Klupax, the Chief Executive of the Institute, to come forward to announce this year's recipient. Welcome.
I'm Peter Single. I work at Saluda Medical. We build neuromodulation systems to improve patients' quality of life. I chose electronics after an accident with my chemistry set when I was 11. I figured electronics was safer. I went on to study science and electronic engineering. After working in Silicon Valley for 3 years, I caught the startup bug and came back to Australia to see if it was possible to do a high-tech startup here. Australia's such a precious country, but good jobs for scientists and technologists are rare. At Oztech in Adelaide, I worked on the chip that does the core signal processing for Cochlear's speech processor. That was my introduction to neuromodulation. It was interesting. Back then we did lots of chips for other startups, and it was hard to tell which might be successful, but they all failed except Cochlear, which was such a great success. After Oztech closed, I went to Cochlear and I was a test engineer, project manager for the N24 system, team leader for a BTE processor, systems engineer, you name it. That was hard but rewarding. At my daughter's school, I saw a girl her age with a cochlear implant, and she was running around like all the other kids. And it taught me how important our contributions can be. After an Internet of Things startup that was not successful, I joined Saluda, where John Parker had assembled a smart and multidisciplinary team. The Australian government had given him some money to do neuromodulation research, and I was to do the electronics. At the start, we had only a vague idea where we were headed. We measured the evoked response of the spinal cord, which had not been done before. That was fun. We then built a feedback loop spinal cord stimulation system. This also hadn't been done before. 7 years after we started, our first patient, Joe, was implanted.
Joe Grewal's the first in the world to receive this device. Electrodes are inserted near the spinal cord. They deliver electrical pulses to numb the pain. What sets this device apart from its predecessors is that it listens to the activity of the spinal cord, so the level of stimulation can self-adjust and remain in the therapeutic range.
It's really done wonders for me. It's the best I've felt since the 70s.
When Joe said he felt the best he had since the 70s, it was the second time I really felt that the pain of doing hard things is worthwhile. Now we have over 100 patients and we'll be selling soon, so we can reach many more. And when I look at all the bright young people working at Saluda, I realise we achieved that goal as well. We're continuing to have fun researching neuromodulation for different parts of the body, building new systems and finding new ways to improve people's lives. 1/4 lead there and about a 1/2 lead there. Have a look at that. Nothing I did was done alone. I'd like to thank all the people who shared this journey with me and contributed to these things.
Peter, congratulations. We'd like you to come up to the stage and collect the award on behalf of the Bionics Institute.
Thank you. I'm humbled and honoured. I really am. And thank you, Tim Dennison, for the lovely talk. We all know about Professor Clark and his role in the development of the cochlear implant. It's a story that's been told many times. And most of us will know about John O'Sullivan and his team's role in the development of a key component of Wi-Fi. But few of us might recognise the name of Ray Hare, even though we'll regularly eat pasta made by the durum wheat that he bred in Narrabri. And few of us will know Ian Hickenbottom or John Possingham, even though they contributed to the scientific revolution that revolutionised Australian wine-making industry, making it into a $2.9 billion business, and led to a lot of the wines that we're drinking here tonight. So Australians, I think, are good at recognising scientists, but are still learning to recognise our technologists. And so I'd like to actually commend the Bionics Institute for creating an award for myself. I don't consider myself a scientist at all, and for Peter Seligman, who won it last year. So I'd like to thank you for this award. I'd like to thank the Australian government and the Australian people for supporting both the unsuccessful and hopefully successful startups I've been involved with. And I'd like to thank my family and particularly my beloved wife for supporting me all the way down the line. Thank you.
That was tremendous. Good job. I want to congratulate Peter Single on a tremendous acknowledgement of your work and the Bionics Institute for recognising leadership in this space.